Hey, it's Wolfy-Chan, and I am back with another manga review, and this one is from Volume 1 of Moriarty The Patriot. Ooh, ooh. This one, it's thick, voluminous, and it is gorgeous. Now, if you've ever heard, seen, talked about Sherlock Holmes, you know that this is Sherlock Holmes's one big enemy, Moriarty. This follows his story in manga form, which I do not believe was actually ever written about. Sherlock Holmes is originally a British story that is not based on anybody. It was about Scotland Yard, and it was a detective that had quirks and could figure out, any situation. Any weird situation, anything that was going wrong, he could figure it out. As quirky as he is, it was Sherlock Holmes and Watson. And I believe in manga form there is a lot of Sherlock Holmes and Watson being quirky and weird and different. What you don't really see is Moriarty. And it's not like Moriarty was ever my favorite character. I actually love Watson for everything that Watson is, does, and do. But this manga, I might have to change. And I do know this also has an anime adaptation. I am making a video on that later as well. So, Moriarty the Patriot starts off with following, technically, Moriarty. Now, Moriarty has been adopted into this family, and his name's technically is, I believe, James. Yeah. James is just an orphan with his brother, and he gets adopted into the Moriarty family because Mr. Moriarty kind of got led by a higher noble lady into adopting poor children and all this good stuff. Well, they adopted James. James is a very clever boy. He can figure out any situation, how to win at the end of gambling, how to help with bread, how to make your followers bloom better, how when you're selling them, how to show it in a certain light. He gives the working people a little helpies. And he's really, really cute with that. Now, the only reason Mr. Moriarty adopted him is because of his oldest son. I can't remember his name. Albert. I'm probably thinking it's Albert James Moriarty, and that might be it, so that might not be his name. In fact, he ends up getting a name later that is one of the sons. Oh, yep, eldest son Albert. Oh, man. Well, I'm not good at guessing names. Yeah, they always call him Moriarty, and then it's Albert. Oh, goodness gracious. William. There you go. He takes the name William. There's actually a second son named William, and he's, yeah. But, okay, so, William. He is just, being quirky and stuff. He goes outside, he does chores, everything. When he comes back to the Moriarty residence, because Albert basically showed his dad, like, hey, you want to adopt orphans? I have two. They're brothers. One of them has a heart condition. We can definitely fix, like, 18th century? Late 18th century, when Victorian England really was bustling. Yeah, he has a heart condition. We can get it fixed. Okay. So they do. But after James and Albert come back from, or William and Albert come back from being out in the world, William is basically put down by the servants and is like, you may have Albert's old clothes, but they are far too better for you. Take them off right now and go back to cleaning. Like your other brother. You gotta clean, and then we don't care. I love that my screen goes dark randomly. You being mean. But our delicious William has a plan. Plan against the higher ranking people in society. So in good olden days, you had the poverty, and you had middle class, then you had upper class, then you had the rich, then you had the elite, then you had kings and queens. And being part of this meant that you were something special. Well, you can only follow them so much until you create a monster. That is our sweet Moriarty. Well, William gets pushed, treated unfairly, but it's whatever they want to do. Now, Albert technically has his actual brother, whose name is William. And William sees people who are lower than him as trash, as gruel, pours hot tea on them, and that's okay. And his mother does not care for the orphans at all. You only took them because Countess said something about it, and you wanted to impress her. They have a standing, they need to keep up with it, yada yada yada. Albert is fed up with this. And on one very dark night, when the mother and actual William decide, well, if we can't easily kick them out, we'll make them look like thieves. And then they'll have to be put back in the orphanage. They're thieves. Well, our William and the brother and Albert come into the room, see that his mother and his brother are trying to put silver in there. Well, this is where the manga gets very dark. Very dark. I'm gonna admit this is not for kids. This is not cute, this is not lighthearted. This is dark. Because our William stabs the other kid. And they make sure that he lives. Because they're setting the house on fire. And they need to make it look like the adopted child didn't know that there was a fire and suffocated to death. This is our Moriarty's thought to help with it. Albert wants to go through with it anyway. Albert strangles his own mother. I believe to death. I believe to death. Woo! Dark! And after the fire erupts and they all kind of look noble and stuff like that, the younger brother decides to burn himself to make it look like they were struggling to get out. Well, they come back out of the fire, which is a really nice scene. You just have all of them coming out of the fire. And of course, this is William and this is Lewis. I like that they all have James, by the way. So, we have our William, we have his brother whose name is Lewis, and we have Albert. And Albert inherits the money and the company that his father was running. So, how thick that is? That's how the story starts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is dark, and I love it. So I had to continue. So our now William, Lewis, and Albert are now traveling the country. Well, William is teaching at a college because he's graduated, he's top of his class. Woo! Our little Moriarty is doing great. They move into the countryside that a Viscount, I believe, has died, and they take over that property. And there is another Viscount that owns half the land and stuff like that. And we find out that he's been upcharging people and making them charge more and more and more. And they, in this town, cannot live like that. They barely have enough for the food that they need to eat, nonetheless have to pay the rent of the land that they themselves are taking care of, working, farming, making, vegetables and stuff like that for the region and this Earl. They don't have that money, but they have to pay him. Well, as a cute little scheme, our Moriarty goes and talks to the people around him and figures out, like, how much money does it take to raise the crops, get it to fruit, and to sell? Okay, how much do you need to live? Okay, so I'm spitballing these numbers because they actually don't say in the manga, but let's say all of it together and to live a healthy life is like $300. Well, like, they need to pay the landowner. And you, Moriarty, are the landowner. So, the other guy, making you pay $250. And you have to live off of $50. Let's give that a month. You have to live $50 a month and to pay $250 to the other guy. So what do you think Moriarty, our sweet, sweet boy, is asking the farmers for? They, make $300 and they have to take care of everything. He's only asking, at least in British money, like, I think it was £5 and some quid, if not a little bit more, so money scheme. He's asking for 50 and they get to keep their money. This is a big shock in the town. And our sweet William has been going into town, talking with people, seeing how the community is. They don't like rich people. He's educated, he's a college teacher, nobody likes him. But he knows ways to help them to do this. And that's when we meet one of our guys who is I believe, a grapefruit farmer. Which, gonna be real with you, grapefruits in England don't sound right. They're not a tropical land, it's not filled with a lot of things. Believe me, he just interjects himself into the world. And people are like, oh, geez, I believe this guy's name is Bert. Oh, goodness. I believe, yeah, Burton. So Burton has been on the other Viscount's land for a very long time. He even had a kid with his wife. The kid got sick. And he went to the Viscount because it was like Sunday. Doctors are very far away, everything. And he raises grapefruits. And he came up to the Viscount and was like, hey, take care. I need your doctor's help. You have a doctor because our Viscount in this story, who's not Moriarty, has a heart problem and needs a doctor full time. Okay. And so he asks, with his sick child in the rain, with his wife holding it, help. The Viscount just is like, no, you're dirty, and look at your mud, and like, shoot. Go on, shoot. Kid dies, woman mentally breaks, and really doesn't give anything about Burton anymore. And it hurts Burton. He can't help but keep working because I have to pay so much money back to the Viscount. Well, news goes around that the land on the Moriarty residence, you only have to pay $50. That, we get to keep most of our money and live? Oh, yeah, no, by Viscount, we're going to the Moriarty land because they're willing to pay us a nice amount of money. So the Viscount, of course, seeing that they're on each other's level, invite them. Oh, it's nice to meet you the first time. Oh, anytime. Then the second time, they come to a dinner party and is like, people are saying that you're paying them more. That's not good business. That's not how we do it. I mean, I know you're young, and he's talking to Albert at this time. And, like, you don't know the ways of the world or anything. You should pay. You should have them pay more. Moriarty, our William, steps in and goes, we have enough money to live off of it for generations. What's a little bit of more money going back to them? What's going to hurt them? We already have a good bottom line. You, on the other hand, seem to more. That's rather strange. Especially when they're dying and, taking care of things for you. You're not doing a lick of things. So, why does it matter? Viscount is just like, that's really stupid and you're weird and mean and everything. True. But does it matter? That leaves a bad taste in the Viscount, but, whatever. They also give the hinting. Well, they point out that William can solve any problem and is a detective of sorts for people. Who are these people? What are these people? What are you talking about? Well, he is technically a detective for evil people. And he doesn't take money. He wants evil to prosper. So, you would think he want to help the Viscount. No, he wants to help the people. So the woman and Bert, or Mr. Burton, Mr. and Mrs. Burton, don't like the Viscount. Don't want him anywhere near them. Don't give anything. Well, guess what? They do one last dinner party. And Moriarty's go, we're going to have dinner guests. Do you mind if they come? Viscount's had a bit of it. But is like, sure, whatever, fine. Bring your guests. They bring Mr. and Mrs. Burton. He's kind of having a little bit of a tiffy, but the Moriartys are like, they're our guests. You either have them or you don't. And then they come to dinner, It starts unfolding that things are happening, that the kid that you let die was Mr. and Mrs. Burton's. And he starts having heart palpitations. The doctor was let to go home, all that good stuff. You need to give me my medicine. We need this, that, and the other. Well, they're like, William Moriarty is like, you can have these pills if you do me a favor. Sign your land and everything that when you die, because you don't have any children, that the land and stuff will go back to the people. And of course he's struggling, he's hurting, it's not okay. He's like, fine, whatever, just get me the pills. He signs it, everything. They give him the pills. Well, apparently, and I don't know how true it is, I would have to do a lot more research, the medicine that he was taking reacted with the grapefruit dessert that the Burtons had given them, with acid and stuff like that, and caused a reaction to make his heart stop, or to damage it to where he's dead pretty quickly. Then you find out he is detective for the evil, the people who want to murder their higher-ups, take down the royalty, take down the upper classes, so that it can be for the poor, the middle class, the people who need it more, it can be for them. He dies, the land goes to everybody, Mr. and Mrs. Burton, and of course the payment that Mrs. Burton had told William was that she was willing to give him her life. How did that happen? What happened? How did it go? William told them that you live for your husband now. And when the time comes, I will take you and leave it. But you live. You make that money and you do good. She's crying. He's happy. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And the next story goes actually based off of his campus. A kid goes missing off the campus, and he's rich. His family has donated large amounts of money to the college. And of course, this is where William is the teacher, of course. So William hears about this, is trying to figure out. He goes into the dormitories where the kid's supposed to be sleeping, doesn't find him. And we also get the starting pages of this girl being on some sort of trip, getting on top of a bridge, and falling into the water to her death. Really jumping part of the next chapter. Oof. And it does take, the middle chapters do take a lot. Like, there's a reason why it's thick. And I love the details. I love everything. So with our little lady who killed herself, now there's a new mystery and a new thing to be detected. Moriarty goes into the dormitories, sees the kid's not there, pieces together where he's been. He's been to this local cafe. And he goes to it. This little girl accidentally spills, like, I don't know if it was really an accident, but she spills all of this disgusting sewage water on him. And she's like, I hate rich people. I hate noblemen. Runs back in, and Moriarty's like, well, I can't blame you. I'm disgusting, huh? And of course, the lady of the bar is like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. She's never done this. And he's like, it's okay. I've just been hearing things about kind of my students coming here and have been wondering if there have been people missing. Well, two and two together, they find out about this girl, that she's always been happy, she wanted to be an actress, all this good stuff. Then comes to find out the student that's missing has been infatuated with her and him, and they've been kind of together. Well, the financier, or the person overseeing the finances in the college, is a very strange man who, if the families keep giving him money and all this good stuff, well, he's the happiest. It's funding the school, it's making it look pretty, you know, more and more rich people want to come and go to school here. Yes, we gotta. And he's a little bit sketchy. So Moriarty finds out there's a connection between him and the kid and the girl. So he brings in some of his friends to help with this. Lures out the guy, finds the kid, because the guy is actually also, on top of doing the finances, is an opium lord and has opium dens around this part of England, and is giving the kid so much opioid that he's not there anymore. So he brings the kid, Moriarty finds the kid, brings him out of it, puts him on a bench, and gets him out of his opioid state. Usually once you become addicted to opioids and opium, you don't come out of it, usually. Like, you'll come out of it and then you'll be, like, itching and wanting more, because opium is the hardcore drug. It is insane. So, seeing this kid kind of come out of it, I'm like, he's been on this for weeks. Are you sure? Okay, but he's gonna be jonesing. And because the kid has gotten out of the den, our creepy, money-hungry lord finds him, and you slowly find out he's like, you got the girl pregnant, you are part of a rich family, she's lower class, had to kill her, you need to go back into the den so you don't cause your family any more trouble. And of course, this doesn't go really well with the kid, to be honest with you. The kid is, like, not having it. And all of a sudden, the girl is alive. And is prompting this dude and stuff like that. And it gets really, really creepy. Moriarty comes out, says, hey, you're creepy, you shouldn't have done that. I'm a detective for the weak and innocent. And you just stumbled into my trap. And of course his other friend is actually at the cafe that's a bit of a brothel. He's been gambling, all this stuff. You find out he and Moriarty were in some sort of war together. And he, the muscular man who is half naked in this, is a sharpshooter. And Moriarty's like, I want to make you dance. Sharpshooter comes out half naked with a blanket wrapped around his end, starts shooting him. And the financier starts getting on top of the bridge and everything like that. And then fatally slips off the bridge. And then life goes back to normal. The kid goes back to school with a really big heroin addiction, I'm just saying. And their biggest thing is changing the world. They want to change the world now. They want to change it for the better. And thus, Volume 1 ends with them putting flowers on her grave, hoping that she understands that they're gonna make it better. Life moves on. Oh boy, I love this one. I love this one completely. This is an amazing manga. If you like blood and riddles and understanding the world building and just, it's a really good thinker, and it makes me think that maybe Sherlock Holmes wasn't the best guy in the world. Maybe even doing all the detective stuff, maybe it wasn't the best thing to do. Now, granted, yes, evil begets evil. He's not a great guy. He's killing people. But they kind of deserved it. And it's so dark. It's so gritty. I really don't recommend this for really young people. I would say, 16, 17, 18. It is very dark. I like that it says rated for older teens. But it is very dark. But it's so good. It's so good. I definitely recommend giving this a read. I'm going to try and find all the volumes and keep reading this personally. And if you definitely like it as much as I do, definitely tell me in the comments below. I would definitely recommend. So, if you like this video, definitely like. If you also finished over here, leave a comment, Moriarty, down below so I know that you finished the video. And definitely don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will be trying to put videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Something new, something old, or something different. And definitely don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook. I might be doing some videos on Twitch or anything like that. You definitely should follow me there. I hope that you've been having a very wonderful, wonderful day. Wolfy-Chan out. Bye.